What up? My name's Praveen, aka Braille, and you're checking out Braille Sounds. And today we're gonna take a look at pedals, and specifically how I connect these pedals to the modular system and how I got into using them to begin with. We're gonna have two sets of pedals here. Over here we've got our drum chain. So we've got Death by Audio's Rooms. It's a reverb that can get pretty freaky, but also has a really good drum gate mode. We've got Fairfield Circuitry's Shallow Water, which is an excellent modulator. It goes for a lo-fi tape sound, but you can get it to sound pretty unique. And the Accountant, which is Fairfield Circuitry's compressor, and lets you really squash the results of these two. And that's the real magic here. You'll hear some super overcompressed, noisy, gritty stuff for the drums. And we can dial it in a few different ways. There's a low pass gate here. You know, I love those. But also we can fade in and out the input or output of the Shallow Water. The other pedal we're using is the Bliss Mood. I've got a love-hate relationship with this thing. It can sound amazing, especially for brief moments, but for me at least, it's pretty hard to control. There are a lot of different possibilities and different modes that you can get the pedal in. To me, it's kind of the antithesis of what I like in modular and pedal gear, which is simplicity, but it sounds so damn good that I love just leaving it on, turning some knobs, and then we get enough source material so that when we go in the box and we edit, we have some interesting bits that we can play with. What I find is really important is getting as much source material as you can when you're here performing and recording that performance live in the studio. More is better. You can always go in and edit, but it's harder to add this stuff after the fact. I love pedals. Why pedals? Well, actually, before I got into all this modular stuff, I got into pedals pretty hard. I kind of consider pedals the modular gateway drug. The blank page problem was a serious issue, and also the sounds that I was coming up with when I was using my DAW started to feel like the same sounds all the time, and they were getting cleaner, they were getting more clinical. It was harder for me to really find a personality in a lot of those sounds. Pedals really let me bring a bit of flavor and personality to existing synths and drum machines that helped me hear the music in a new way. Everything sounded new. It was really exciting. There was a bit of chaos. I lost a bit of control, but I gained a whole lot of freedom. Sometimes processing your material is all you need to do. You could do the same thing with plugins. I think it's the processing part where you're taking material that you may have considered sacred and running it through signal paths that are going to totally change it. That can be pretty liberating. I've got an album coming out August 8th. It's called Triple Transit. Two of the songs on that album were actually heavily processed by pedals, the same pedal chain that you see here. On Suntime, I ran both the Electron Analog Rhythm 2 and my Prophet 6 into this exact chain. And on Regression, I did the same. They sound slightly different because you can get these to sound slightly different depending on how you treat them afterwards and also how you set the compression settings so that the results are more or less squashed. So how am I getting the modular stuff out and then back again? Well, we've got two modules here. The first one is the Intellijel pedal 1U module there on the left. The great thing about this is it connects up here to the case's 1/4 inch in and out jacks. So we can actually take the modular out and then into the pedals, and then we can also take a signal out of the pedals and back into the pedal 1U. The chords that are going to be going through Mood, we've got Knob Farm's Fairy, and this is a pretty standard pedal module. It will change your output levels to the levels that your pedals are expecting, but it will also let you take those pedal signals back from the pedal chain and raise them back up to modular levels afterwards. Instead of starting with the kick, let's start with some cymbals. I think that'll be fun. So we're using the Crucible here. I love this thing. It's got two different inputs, so you can do a lot of really dynamic cymbal playing. So you can already hear the Mood doing its thing. Let's actually cut the reverb here. So it's just the Mood. That's some of this grit I was talking about. See what we got here. Whew. This is what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just push a few things and on accident you're like, woo. I mean, that progression is dope. Let's take out the Odessa. Woo. So I'm saying, you just like, you set up your palette. Who knows what's gonna happen. This gate preset on brooms is actually really good for drums. You can kind of play it. That's some ultra perk. Yeah, it's gonna be nice later. All right, so I think we got enough material right now. Even though it sounds crazy right now, we've got too much happening, we can actually cut things out and make it sound like it makes sense. And that's about it. I hope this inspired or gave you some ideas on how you might add pedals to your own setup, add some dirt, add some grit to your own sound, maybe bring some new life and vibe into synths that you already played out. Maybe all it takes to get out of a creative block is to process the hell out of your tracks until you can't recognize them. See you next time.